covering the entire Piedmont Triad and everywhere you are. WXII 12 News at 10 p.m. starts now.
Tonight on WXII 12 News at 10 o'clock, flooding concerns from tornado-ravaged Oklahoma, also here in the Piedmont, and 2 tornadoes leave a path of destruction in South Carolina. Good evening, I'm Kenny Beck here in the WXII 12 Weather Center alongside meteorologist Michelle Kennedy. It's died down in some spots, but obviously we see Doppler still very, very busy out there. Some folks not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, you know, we've got a little bit of time before we actually see all these showers out of here. We have some heavy rains right now in the southeastern Piedmont. We'll zoom in for a closer look. You can see sections of Burlington down south through Snow Camp as we go into Graham, all getting hit with some of the heavier showers at this hour. A lot of lightning with these storms, as you know, tonight. And some folks have seen 1 to 2 inches just from the storms that have rolled through sections of the southeast Piedmont. And we're also looking at Coleridge, Ramseur, seeing those showers exit off to the east and out through Eula. Some heavy rains. So far totaling almost 2 inches out in Hamptonville earlier today. And look what else is heading your way. We got a little bit of a break back out west, but now we're going to lift this in. And the trend here is to track in some of those showers over the same location. So we call that training, and we have more of that coming your way as we go overnight and likely tomorrow with scattered activity. 69 degrees in Winston-Salem right now, also Greensboro, 70 in Burlington. Some rain-cool conditions out there for you, and tomorrow morning temperatures hanging out in those upper 60s. Your rain chances up there too at 80%. We'll take a better look at when we dry out and just how much more rain might be on the way. It's all coming up.
Thanks, Michelle. And remember, you can track whatever weather comes your way right down to your own neighborhood and your own street on your own desktop. Just go to WXII12.com. Check out the interactive radar feature in the weather section. Well, on the topic of weather new at 10, some South Carolina residents are cleaning up this evening from storms that produced at least 2 tornadoes. This is new video into us from Anderson, South Carolina. Storms left behind downed trees and damage to homes. At least one home sustained roof damage and shattered windows. Crews say the home was partially moved from its foundation and the deck blown several feet, landing in the driveway. Right now, the death toll from that tornado that hit Oklahoma Friday is up to 10. The state medical examiner says 2 of the victims were children. Earlier today, emergency workers searched for missing people in areas that were previously heavily flooded in the storm. 4 bodies were found in the Deep Fork River alone. The exact number of missing people has not yet been released. Among those killed in the storms was renowned storm chaser Tim Samaras. A family statement says the 55-year-old, his 24-year-old son, and a friend all died doing what they love. Samaras worked for the Discovery Channel. Strong winds are being blamed tonight for fanning a wildfire in California that's threatening 1,000 homes. The so-called powerhouse fire has burned down 6 homes and 9 other buildings, according to authorities. The fire in Elizabeth Lake in Los Angeles County is only 20% contained right now. Folks who live in the area have been evacuated. Firefighters say triple-digit temperatures this weekend have only made their efforts to fight the flames that much more difficult. And tonight, crews are trying to get control of 2 other wildfires in New Mexico. About 200 homes have been evacuated there, right near the Santa Fe National Forest. Crews are building protection lines around the fires and hope that forecasts of thunderstorms will help at the very least reduce the intensity of the flames. Right now, there is still no sign of a missing North Carolina woman. Holly Fisher of Charlotte left her parents' home in Knoxville, Tennessee last Monday and has not been heard from since. However, by tracking her cell phone, authorities have learned she was in North Wilkesboro Monday before she disappeared. Her parents have a home there, and that's where dozens of people came out today in search of the 39-year-old.
Her phone has been pinging in this general area in the mountains. I believe the cell phone connection was going till almost Thursday or right at Thursday. And so, you know, we just don't really know what happened to her. I mean, she was supposed to be coming home and then she never showed.
Friends have set up a Facebook page in search for Holly Fisher. They've also placed flyers in and around the area. A Carroll County, Virginia mother who was missing for a month has now been laid to rest. Desiree George's funeral was earlier today. Her body was found last month in a wooded area of Grayson County, Virginia. Her boyfriend, Matthew Jones, who investigators named as a person of interest in her disappearance, is already behind bars in Randolph County, charged in a bank robbery in Ramseur. No charges have been filed yet in George's murder. Greensboro police have made an arrest in an early morning shooting. 31-year-old Robert Woolridge is in the Guilford County Detention Center this evening. According to police, the 29-year-old victim, Wayne McCauley, was found in a yard on Rose Street just before 6 o'clock this morning with multiple gunshot wounds. He is in stable condition tonight. As for Woolridge, he is charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and assault with a deadly weapon. Students at an Ohio high school remembered 3 of their own this weekend who were killed in a shooting last year at Chardon High School. Demetrius Hewlin, Russell King Jr., and Daniel Permtor would have graduated this year. 3 roses and 3 diplomas sat on a table representing those teens. The shooter, TJ Lane, is serving a life sentence. Back home, a Halifax County NAACP is criticizing a plea agreement reached with a police officer in the death of a man who was shocked with a stun gun. The officer pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor in 61-year-old Roger Anthony's death. He also received an 18-month prison sentence. Anthony died in November 2011 from blunt force trauma to the head. According to a civil suit, he fell from his bike after the officer shocked him with that stun gun. Looking ahead, tomorrow, the state chapter of the NAACP is planning to rally outside the General Assembly building in Raleigh. That organization is protesting recent actions by the Republican-led Assembly on social programs, education, and voting rights. Since April, demonstrations at the General Assembly have led to more than 150 arrests. Tomorrow's rally comes after a 25-county tour organized for support. President Obama plans to visit North Carolina this week. The White House says he'll be in Charlotte Thursday as part of his middle-class jobs and opportunity tour. The president was last in our state back in February, the day after the State of the Union address, when he visited a manufacturing plant in Asheville.
It's difficult to hear, Captain. There's poor reception.
Fascinating.
The IRS is getting ready for another round of tough questions on Capitol Hill. The agency is accused of misspending millions of taxpayer dollars. Some went to training videos like the one you just saw. The IRS has actually admitted that it spent 60 grand on 2 training videos spoofing Star Trek and Gilligan's Island. The House Oversight Committee claims the agency spent almost $50 million on conferences over a 3-year period.
What they said is, we'll pay full boat, but we want some perks. So they ended up with free drinks, they ended up with tickets to games, basically kickbacks.
The agency is already under fire for targeting conservative groups. Still no word tonight on what sparked a fire at this home in Winston-Salem. It broke out early this morning in the 900 block of Jackson Avenue. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but 5 adults and 3 children are not able to live there anymore. Search is on tonight for the driver responsible for a hit-and-run crash that killed a toddler. It happened Friday night in Duplin County, east of Mount Olive. 21-month-old Ishmael Ailman died at the scene. There is no word tonight as to why the toddler was in the street. A Triad man was arrested on several charges, including DWI, after High Point police say he hit an officer's patrol car. It happened last night in a parking lot on Greensboro Road. According to police, Justin Bailey lost control of his vehicle, ran off the road, then hit the officer's car. Along with DWI, he's charged with possession of heroin and driving with a revoked license. The officer was not injured.
I heard the tires squeal, and then you just heard metal crashing.
2 first responders are recovering tonight following a wild ride in an ambulance. Investigators say a patient at a hospital in Decatur, Georgia, got in the driver's seat of the ambulance and drove off with the EMS workers trapped in the back. The driver then took out a utility pole and a porch before crashing the ambulance into a chiropractic office. The alleged carjacker took off. So far, that person remains at large. A North Carolina 2010 Officer of the Year has been charged with driving while impaired. According to the Black Mountain News in Asheville, Woodfin officer Michael Sally was arrested early yesterday morning after a traffic stop. He was off duty at the time of his arrest. He has since been suspended. Well, looking ahead, Burlington's new police chief will be formally sworn in on Monday. Jeffrey Smythe has been on the job for a little more than a month now. He's a 27-year veteran of law enforcement and most recently served as the chief of police in Show Low, Arizona. Also tomorrow, we can expect a big announcement from the National Black Theater Festival. The group is holding a news conference at noon at the Embassy Suites in downtown Winston-Salem. According to the NBTF website, the full lineup for this year's festival will be revealed tomorrow. The festival is July 29th through August 3rd. Well, if your travels took you over the border to South Carolina this weekend, odds are you paid a little bit less for gas. At least we hope you did. According to AAA, drivers in that state are paying the least for gas right now, $3.21 a gallon for regular. AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular is $3.62, and here home in the Triad, the average price is $3.36, which is down from $3.41 this time a year ago.
And we're looking back over downtown Lexington as those showers and storms roll through. Some wet streets out there, and we'll have more wet weather likely on the way overnight and a possibility of scattered storms on your Monday. When do we dry out? Details next.
still in shock. We've been thinking about this moment for a month now.
And there's a good reason. Running for Boston coming up next on WXII 12 News at 10. The incredible feat two runners made earlier this week and how people from around the country helped them raise money for the victims. And not a typical day on the force. How a llama gave police in Florida quite the story to tell back at the office. You're watching WXII 12 News at 10.